And co-advocates of human rights. I'm NUP Melvin Oragasa, a graduate of Bachelor of Laws, and my pre-law was Bachelor of Arts in Legal Management. I am presently assigned with the Office of the Chief, Philippine National Police Public Information Office. I was previously detailed with the OCPNP Human Rights Affairs Office, having been with them for 8 years. When I was with HRAW, I was their spokesperson, media relations officer, and writer that enhanced my expertise on human rights and international humanitarian law. I'm also being tapped by various PNP directorates and PNP offices nationwide as resource speaker and subject matter expert on human rights and international humanitarian law. As a writer, I co-authored various books and IEC materials on human rights and international humanitarian law published by PNP HRAW, which can be downloaded at the PNP website and HRAW website. So today, we will be discussing the basics of human rights golden rule. The subject human rights is one of the most pressing issues faced by the Philippine National Police today. But if understood in the proper context, the promotion and protection of human rights is at the very core of policing. For today's discussion, our objectives are for the participants to be able to state the basic principles of human rights, familiarize with the role of the United Nations Human Rights Council, and identify the fundamental human rights through the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. So let us first define human rights. It is said that human rights are the basic rights and freedoms that all human beings have. As espoused by former Senator Jose W. Jokno, who is considered as the father of the Commission on Human Rights here in the Philippines, no cause is more worthy than the cause of human rights. Human rights are more than legal concepts. They are the essence of men and women. They are what makes men and women human. That is why they are called human rights. Deny them, and you deny men's or woman's humanity. Let us now discuss the three characteristics of human rights. The first characteristic of human rights is traditionally known as the rights of men. None of us ask to be born, and regardless of who our parents are and what they own, all of us are born equally naked and helpless, yet with his own hand, his own will and talents. All of us have equal rights to life and share the same inherent human dignity. Thus, we all have the right to life, to dignity, and develop ourselves. The second characteristics of human rights is known as the rights of the people. Even if we may not know who our parents are, we are never born without parents and never outside society. A society with its own peculiar culture, history, and resources. So besides our rights as person, we have rights as society, rights which we can exercise collectively as a people. Thus, we have the right to survive, to self-determination, and to develop as a people. The third characteristics state that once a society reaches a certain degree of complexity, as almost all societies have, society can act only through government. But a government always acts as agent of the society. It never becomes the society itself. It never becomes the people themselves. We also have the basic principles of human rights. They are inherent, fundamental, inalienable, imprescriptible, indivisible, universal, and interdependent. Let us now discuss the evolution of human rights. The idea of human rights emerged even stronger after World War II. The extermination by the Nazi Germany of over 6 million Jews, Sinti and Romanis, homosexuals, and persons with disabilities horrified the world. Trials were held in Nuremberg and Tokyo after World War II, and officials from the defeated countries were punished for committing war crimes, crimes against peace, and crimes against humanity. Governments then committed themselves to establishing the United Nations with the primary goal of bolstering international peace and preventing conflict. The United Nations then created the UN Commission on Human Rights and, guided by Eleanor Roosevelt, the UNCHR was charged with the task of drafting international bills and documents of human rights. On April to June 1945, representatives of 50 nations of the UN met in San Francisco to complete the Charter of the United Nations. The calls came from across the globe for human rights standards to protect citizens from abuses by their governments, standards against which nations could be held accountable for the treatment of those living within their borders. These voices played a critical role in San Francisco meeting that drafted the United Nations Charter in 1945. The UN Commission on Human Rights was replaced by the United Nations Human Rights Council in 2006, which is a United Nations system intergovernmental body whose 47 member states are responsible for promoting and protecting human rights around the world. The United Nations Human Rights Council is a subsidiary body of the UN General Assembly. The UNCHR then drafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is the first global expression of rights to which all human beings are inherently entitled. The UDHR was adopted unanimously by the General Assembly on December 10, 1948, and spelled out the meaning of the fundamental rights and freedoms proclaimed in the UN Charter. The UDHR comprises 30 articles that contain a comprehensive listing of key civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. It is hoped that after our session, you can now discuss the basic principles of human rights, the evolution of human rights, the role of the United Nations Human Rights Council, and the fundamental human rights through the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. It is also necessary for everyone to understand that upholding human rights is very similar to the Golden Rule, which says that we must treat others in the way we want others to treat us. When we render respect and courtesy to citizens, there is a greater tendency for them to return that respect and courtesy. We are now more than 225,000 strong PNP, and may all of us remain steadfast in our commitment to serve and protect the Filipino people by institutionalizing respect for human rights as a way of life. So again, thank you for listening, our beloved participants, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in our online class. God bless.